Ayan, hello! Good morning! Ayan, good morning po sa ating lahat. Welcome to another Tag Pros Education Live webinar. Ayan, brought to you in celebration of the National Teachers Month. Yes, we are live here on Facebook. Ayan, so let me see nga. Ayan, so today's topic is to AI or not to AI, the role of AI in research. Ayan, so this learning event is proudly brought to you by Tag Pros Education and Gabay in celebration of National Teachers Month, a special time to honor not only the dedication, passion, and hard work of every teacher, but also the efforts of students, school leaders, and coaches who work together to create thriving learning communities. Yeah. And by the way, my name is Glenda, and I will be your guide and moderator for today's session. All right, thank you so much. Ayan, once again, good morning po. And shout out po sa lahat ng mga participants natin from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So our goal is to help educators, students, and leaders alike discover how AI can support meaningful research. Yan. Drive innovation and enhance learning outcomes. So ayan po ang mga goal natin today. Now, pumipiyok pa. Sobrang excited. Ayan, of course, to to highlight our session, yan, our speaker for this morning, yan, is an award-winning Filipino educator, school leader, digital learning consultant, and an author. Yan. He is the co-founder and chief program officer of TagPros Education, where he leads a program that empowers teacher and learners to maximize the potential of technology in education. Truly, he is passionate about transforming education so that our students become critical thinkers and agents of change. Mga guro, coaches at magulang, let's all welcome Sir Francis Jim Toscano. Let's give him a virtual applause.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Glenda. Ayan, sabi nga ni Teacher Marks Evangelista, Ohayong gozaimasu sa imong tanan. What a way to start the morning. Shout out to Sir Marks. Okay, so good morning, everyone. So this will just be a very chill discussion. So it's a Saturday morning. I have my coffee with me. Yan, please get your coffee as well beside you and try to listen and try to put your questions. Um, I know that some of you might be here because number one, you're teaching research. Number two, you're a student learning research in college. Number three, maybe you are already a teacher or a school leader pursuing graduate education, whether masters or doctoral presentation, doctoral degree. So good morning, everyone. To start off, I just want to make sure that uh, you're in a series where we're discussing about AI. So for today, there are three things that we will do. Okay. Number one, we will explore common AI tools that can help you in your research process. Number two, let's try to use prompt engineering. Ayan, kung nakikinig ka, alam nyo ang prompt engineering, I will teach you. Ayan, Sir Pau Borja, he's a research teacher. So we're gonna shout out to you, sir. We're gonna use prompt engineering to improve the quality of AI supported research writing. And then we will examine ethical considerations and challenges and maybe some updates on how we have been integrating in AI in research. Just to give you a background, this year I was appointed. So I'm also a full time school leader. This year I was appointed, or I am the current head of the research committee of our school. And one of the things that I was tasked to lead in developing was our research manual. And one of the things that I focused on was using AI in research. So I will be able to share some of the researches that I've done in consideration with using AI in research. Let's play a game for now. So I want everyone to pay attention. And then I will read a statement, and then you have to go to your chat box and give me your answer. Your answer is an emoji that will tell you how you relate to the statement. I love playing this game, but I modified it so that it will become AI and research. Okay, so I hope you understood that. Um, Choose heart. Okay, tap heart or input heart, the heart emoji in the comment section if you think you can do this well and even help others with it. Thumbs up emoji if you are gaining confidence and using AI more intentionally. A curious emoji. It's a face with the hand that has a curious face. I've started exploring this, but I still feel unsure. And then the scared or anxious emoji, I have not encountered or done this. So, madali lang po ang gagawin natin. I'll read a statement and then you tell me how you relate to the statement. You choose the symbol that best represents your current perspective or how you relate to the statement. Okay? So let's start. Okay, the first statement: I have used an AI tool to support my own research writing. Ayan. It's so 2 years ago pa po yung AI user basher. Sana wala nang nagbabash sa atin. But the first statement, I have used I have used AI tool to support an AI tool to support my own research writing. Let me see your answers. Is it heart, thumbs up, the curious emoji, or the scared emoji? Tingnan nga natin yung sagot natin. Okay? Heart, heart, ayan. Pwede rin sa comment section. You can put your answers in comment section. No? Ayan, okay. A lot of curious emojis, okay? Next statement. Huwag masyadong mag-isip. Don't filter. Ang mga teachers kasi they're so good in filtering, no? So don't filter your ideas. Next, number 2. I know how to write clear, effective prompts that help AI tools generate useful academic outputs. I know how to write clear, effective prompts that help AI tools generate useful academic outputs. Okay. Next, I can identify when AI outputs are inaccurate, biased, or fabricated. Okay. Hindi ko napansin, no, halo-halo na pala yung mga sumasagot. May mga late din na pumapasok. So, tingnan natin, no. Basta take note of your common answers. Okay? Statement number 4. I know how to ethically use AI tools in research, including how and when to disclose AI assistants. Maraming nagsa-thumbs up, maraming curious, no? I think that's where we are at now. Curious, heart as well. Ayan. And then last statement, I understand the risks of uploading sensitive or personal data to AI platforms and how to avoid them. This is very important. So a lot of us make use of AI tools in research, including uploading files. But are we aware of the risks of uploading sensitive or personal data to AI platforms and how to avoid them? Alright. Okay. So what are your common answers? What are your most common answers? A lot of heart, but just looking at now, no? A lot of heart, a lot of thumbs up. Okay? That means that we have a lot of AI users. Karamihan ba sa inyo ay mga students? Karamihan ba sa inyo ay mga college student? The younger generations, the younger segment of our audience are college. I know that there are college students here. Okay? Ayan, heart, heart, heart. Okay? All right. Thank you, everyone. So for those catching up with their answers, thank you for participating. And I see that a lot of you are using AI tools, and a lot of you are actually aware of the challenges of using AI tools. So the big idea right now is we want to believe that AI augments researchers. The big idea here is not AI replacing researchers. We don't want to do that. It's becoming a co-pilot. It's becoming a partner. It's becoming a guide. Okay, we must learn to navigate this kind of landscape. I think we cannot go back already to a time where we do research without AI. um I don't think people are aware that there are already very good AI tools. What we can do right now is to be confident. But to be confident does not mean I know what to do. I know how to use it. But the bigger idea is what kind of usage will you be having? Is it ethical? Kasi in research, a lot of the big ideas about research is that we will use data. Data is being used, data is being analyzed, and the fact that we're dealing with private data, with a lot of data, sensitive data, that would already require us to be ethical with what we're doing in research. Okay? So I hope you understand that while we say yes, we want to use AI tools, yes, we want to take advantage of these tools, we are being reminded that we need to make sure that the use of AI in research is ethical. Okay? Now, I just want to give a review for those. Can you tell me if you have been attending our sessions, our AI tools for the last few weeks? Because if you have been here, I think this will be very familiar to you. The slides that we're using will be very familiar to you, and this will help you understand. Okay, this will help you understand what we're coming from. So for those who are just coming in right now, we will have a review of what AI tools are. Okay, the first thing that you need to understand is that there are different kinds of AI tools. Not all AI tools were developed in the same manner. Not all AI tools have the same purpose or goal for usage. There are three broad or common AI classifications. Okay. Number one, generative AI. The second one is discriminative AI, and the other one is predictive AI. Okay. Generative AI, number one, it creates new content. So these are AI that creates new content by learning from vast data sets and generating text, images, or video. So ChatGPT, Gemini, Dolly, Claude, Adobe Firefly, all those um banana or nano banana, those are generative AI. Okay. They create some things. They create outputs, whether in text, whether in video, whether in image. We call them as generative or Gen AI. We also have what we call as discriminative AI. Discriminative AI compares, categorizes, and classifies data rather than generation. So it cannot generate. I'm gonna give you an example. Go to your Photos app. So when you go to your Photos app, especially the newer phones, okay, when you go to the Photos app that you will have, for example, in an iPhone, you will have this category where it categorizes people according to their faces. So that's when a picture comes in, your Photos app will ask, is this a picture of this person? Why is that? That is AI working in your phone. It categorizes based on existing data. So pag napakita yung unang picture, halimbawa ako or yung pamangkin ko, kung merong picture na bago, then ika-categorize niya. That's discriminative AI. Okay? Um, the other one is Turnitin. Turnitin is a discriminative AI as well. You upload papers, and then because there's data in it, it will compare with existing papers and literature. Okay? So yon. Next, the other one is predictive AI. Predictive AI lets you analyze past data or forecast future outcomes. So this is the one being used to analyze weather. Okay, so they look at how the different data sets, and then, for example, they will predict the movement of a typhoon, of a weather system, or whatever. So those are very, very important ways of looking into it. Okay, three kinds of general kinds of AI: generative AI, discriminative AI, and predictive AI. Now, I wanna, how does AI work? In research, this is very, very important. Important for everyone to understand. Okay? How does AI work? AI works through data processing. Even before you use AI, that AI already is pre-trained with data. Do our college students understand the meaning of tabula rasa, clean slate? It is a philosophical idea that, when we are born, our brain is tabula rasa, clean slate, no memories or whatever. So it's a philosophical argument, or idea. In AI is not tabula rasa. It's not a clean slate. Instead, before you even use AI, meron na siyang data. Yung PT sa GPT, like ChatGPT, PT means pre-trained. So pre-trained, step zero, meron silang data sa loob nila. So how do you work? For example, Mr. Jeffrey Bulan, one of our participants here, okay, is using ChatGPT. Ang una niyang gagawin is data input. Magko-question siya whether through typing, uploading a picture or whatever, uploading a file using his voice. That's data input. Remember, that's data. Your data. So you're sharing data to the AI tool so that they can process it. Okay? Now, when you go to data processing, step number two, AI tool will now break down your question. It's called tokenization. Tokenization. They will break down and analyze what are the words and what do those words mean. Okay. Number three, they will now give you the most plausible. Plausible means most logical. AI is not concerned about what is truthful or not. AI is concerned about what's the most logical and common answer. For example, Ma'am Ana Marie Sabino, uh, BP Ed 4B, says, ask ChatGPT, what is the color of the sun? The question, the input of Ma'am Ana is, what is the color of the sun? ChatGPT processes it, breaks it down. What is color sun? And then it will now go to his AI brain and ask itself and looks for ano ba ang mga common na words associated with color sun. So, sasabihin niya, yellow. Kasi in all the data that I've seen, 100% says yellow is the color of the sun. Si ChatGPT ba may mata, lumabas, nakita niya na yellow yung sun? No. ChatGPT made the decision to answer with yellow because in all the data sets, yellow ang sinasabi. Okay? That's how it works. And then the outcome will come out and then you decide, is that correct? Is that successful? Is that a failure? Okay? That's how it works. Okay? There's data. Step zero, there's already data. And then 1, 2, 3, step 1, you input data. Step 2, they process your inputted data and then they bring out data. Notice this, because in research, you focus on massive use of data throughout the process. It's the same with AI. So when you use AI tool in research, you are using a lot of these things. Okay? Now, I want to introduce to you the idea of human AI roles in research. So, teacher, how do we now understand what's the role? Sabi ninyo last week, humans and AI can collaborate. Okay? Human and AI can collaborate. So how do we determine if we are collaborating properly? I have created what we call as the teacher AI collaboration matrix. It's a practical path to co-intelligence. So last week, if you attended, we were talking about co-intelligence? Sige nga, can you go to the chat box and tell me what you can remember about co-intelligence or what do you know about co-intelligence? Ayan, anyone who would try to share what they can remember about co-intelligence. If you were here like last week ba or 2 to 3 weeks ago, we have been talking about co-intelligence. Okay? Ayan. Co-intelligence means that uh, human intelligence and artificial intelligence could work hand in hand with the human intelligence setting the direction of how AI could help. AI could help us in a way that will make our load easier because these are smaller tasks. But when we say human intelligence, there are certain tasks that needs to be reserved for human beings. Okay. May I ask our tech team to blow up the matrix that I'm showing. And in the matrix that you see, there are two axes. The horizontal axis is pedagogical or ethical necessity. It means how high is the demand or required ethics. And then the vertical, yung patayo na axis, that is cognitive demand. How complex or intellectually rigorous is the task? So you have the low and high. Now, let's take a look at the different matrix. When we combined the different when we how do you call that, separate the matrix into quadrant, you will see different areas. That is a combination of the levels, different levels of pedagogical or ethical necessity and cognitive necessity. So let's try to focus. Teacher Jim, what if it's low pedagogical necessity and high cognitive demand? What do we do with what do we do with our work with AI? We delegate to AI. Delegation means in research, for example, pwedeng ipagawa sa AI. Oh, disclaimer, the use of AI should always be developmentally appropriate. Wag, halimbawa ako, I don't like it when young kids who are learning grammar, learning foundational literacy and numeracy are using AI to create things that they did not do. Hindi pa nga nila na-master, di ba? Mahirap yon. So, remember that my discussion right now is targeting at least senior high school, college, and professionals as well. So when we say low cognitive demand, low ethical necessity, this means hindi ganon ka-intellectually challenging, walang masyadong effect on us kasi alam na natin to at walang masyadong mataas na ethics. No impact on ethics or low. Halimbawa, kung senior high school ka, kung college ka, or professional ka, um, pwede mo nang i-delegate sa AI ang idea na 'to. So halimbawa, Grammarly, improving grammar with Grammarly. Kung senior high school ka at problema po pa rin yung grammar, medyo nakakatakot na 'yon. Kasi ang grammar na-master yan dapat at least elementary and junior high school. Kung college teacher ka at ayaw mo ng Grammarly kasi takot ka, hindi ko alam kung bakit. Kasi by college, dapat hindi na problema ang grammar. So madali na yang ibigay. Low task na yan dapat. Ibigay na yan sa AI. Yung pagpo-format ng APA references, okay? Ibigay na rin yan sa AI kasi naaral mo na. Generating charts or even transcription, pwede rin yang AI. Kasi in transcription, you can still verify it, right? So you can actually delegate things. Low cognitive demand, low ethical necessity. Okay, let's go to the other quadrant. What if it's high cognitive demand, okay? Challenging yung paggamit, high critical thinking, mga ganon, okay? And low ethical necessity. High critical thinking, high cognitive task, pero low ethical necessity. Ibig sabihin hindi siya ethical concern or mababa ang concern sa ethics. Ibig sabihin dito, pwede nating i-co-design with AI. Co-designing with AI means we co-create outlines or maybe sa research no paggawa ng outline or paggawa ng research plan. AI helps in brainstorming research. Ano ba yung mga variables, 'di ba? If you look at here, yung co-designing with AI doesn't mean letting AI simply make the decision. It's still the researcher who will choose which one is relevant. Halimbawa, nag-brainstorming ka with AI. That's co-designing with AI. Bakit? Hindi naman yung AI ang pipili ng research mo, yung research topic, ikaw pa rin. Kasi si AI, hindi niya alam yung konteksto. Hindi rin niya alam yung ano ba yung pangangailangan for the research. Ikaw ang nakakaalam. So ikaw ang pipili, ikaw yung mag-i-evaluate if everything that has been given to you are actually some things that you want to do. Okay? Co-design with AI. Okay? The other one, what if we look at the ethical standards na? Okay? Teacher Jim, it's still low cognitive demand but high ethical necessity. So low cognitive demand, nandito tayo, low cognitive demand pero high ethical necessity. So guide naman. Ang sabi natin, we guide AI. For example, nagpa-summarize tayo, okay? Checking for summaries or minsan we wanna get executive summary or briefing documents from an article, okay, that we need to read. You still have to check for AI biases. You have to review even the interpretations being given to you. This is very, very important because high ethical necessity. Sir, bakit naman kailangan naming review? AI naman yan. For sure, magaling naman yung AI na yan. Because you're dealing with data, you're dealing with knowledge, you're dealing with information that can affect the way you the way you will decide on things, the way you will write things, the way that the informations that you will share, you have to check for biases. So, low cognitive demand, yes, low cognitive demand. Yung pagsa-summarize, hindi naman yan high cognitive demand eh. It's actually a very low cognitive demand kasi kaya mo yan eh. Okay? Pero ang concern mo, bakit challenging ang pagsa-summarize with AI? Kasi ang AI can misinterpret things. So the ethics part of that here is to check for biases, to check for prejudice. Okay? Sir, yung last na quadrant natin is high cognitive demand, high ethical. So challenging, complex, rigorous yung thinking, mataas din yung ethics concern. You know, this part is when we say, pwedeng walang AI. And it's okay not to use AI. In this part, we lead with human wisdom. High cognitive demand, high ethical necessity, these are spaces where AI should not be leading or even should not be used. For example, you interpret your results from your research. That's yours. Okay? You write your final conclusion and implication. That's yours to do. Okay? Making ethical decisions on what to publish or share. That's yours. That's yours to make. Looking at data and deciding whether to upload survey that you've gotten from your participants. That's high cognitive demand, high ethical necessity. And it's okay to say at this point, at the fourth quadrant, leading with wisdom, that's when AI needs to stop. And it's okay to say at this part of research, I will reserve it for me kasi ito yung trabaho ko as researcher. Kasi kung ipapagawa natin lahat sa AI, ano pang ginagawa natin bilang researcher, 'di ba? It's not about pabilisan ng trabaho. It's about having enough time to make your own final decisions, to make your own conclusion, to write your own conclusion and even implications. Okay? Now, I wanna go here and simply and show you the things that I wanna do. I wanna start with prompt engineering. Have you heard of prompt engineering? Prompt engineering is when you use a pattern. It's called a pattern, okay? That will lead you to better questioning with ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and everything. Ang idea talaga in AI is garbage in, garbage out. Kung pangit ang question mo, huwag kang mag-expect na magandang question, 'di ba? Kung pangit ang pumasok, pangit ang lalabas. Kung low quality ang papasok, low quality din ang lalabas. So I wanna introduce to you prompt engineering. In prompt engineering, we reduce we reduce hesitation. It is a guide that can help us visually ask better questions. Okay, so I'm gonna show you some examples of prompt frameworks that I use in research. Okay, role, task, constraint. So for example, RTC, CAPE, context, action, purpose, expectation, source, objective, user, rules, constraints, ethics, stage or specs, power, and then help me understand. Okay, I will demo this. So take a picture right now. Take a picture. I'm just setting up, okay, my demo. So I want you to take a picture right now of the different frameworks or how you would ask, okay, questions. Let me just prepare my demo. Okay. Log in. Okay. Just gonna log in as well. Okay, from frameworks, for example, I'm gonna show you. So I've logged in with my Chat GPT. I'm gonna show this to you. How can we use RTC, role task constraint? This is ideal for generating general academic writing, summarization, or support tasks. For example, R means role. You give AI its role. Task is to state what you want it to do, and then add rules on tone, format, length, or depth for the constraint. For example, you are a research assistant. That's your role. Your task is to summarize the methodology and findings of this study. Constraint in three formal bullet points and academic language. Okay, so let me just do this unshare for now, and then uh, start preparing. Okay, let me just share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen? I'm not sure if you can see my screen. Okay, let me just stop sharing first. Sorry for that. Let me just okay. Let me check if my with my tech team if my screen is showing. Just a quick. Give me 1 minute to fix. Let me just share. Okay. All right. Okay. So, what I want to share is how I use prompt engineering. So I'm gonna share to you. Okay. This is my, I don't know if you can see my screen right now. This is my chat GPT. Tama ba? Nakikita na ba? All right. I think, yep. Okay. So what I want to do is to share how I use RTC, role task constraint, in my in working with ChatGPT. So what I want to do is I copy pasted it. The role, you are a research assistant, so I want to erase that. Summarize the methodology and findings of this study in three formal bullet using academic language. Look at here. This is how I type it. There's role, task, constraint. That is your parameter. That is how you ask ChatGPT so that you can have very good question. Now, where is the study? Syempre, i-upload ko yung study that I want to read. So I just go to the download file. Okay. This is the paper ayan, that I want it to read. Okay. And then I already gave a command. That's my prompt. I'm gonna upload it. Okay. So ChatGPT now will read the document and then it will summarize for me based on the command that I've given or the prompt. We call it prompt. So there is role, there is task, summarize the bullet, and the constraint, the parameters that I wanted to say or how it would say. Okay? That's how you work with prompting. Okay? That is a way to really look at prompting. Okay? To work with prompting. All right, is that clear? There is another prompt that I want to show you. It's called CAPE. Okay? CAPE framework, context, action, purpose, expectation. I don't know if I can show this to you. Maguguluhan yung tech team right now kasi I want to share another as well. So let me see if you can. Right? I'm working with multiple screen right now. So I don't know if stop sharing. Okay, the other one that I want to share is CAPE. Okay, what is CAPE? Share ko muna sa inyo yung slide ko and then I will transition. CAPE is context, action, purpose, and expectation. Okay? Context means provide background or research focus. Okay? And then specify the AI's task. Purpose, why you need this output, and then define quality or format standards. Blurred ba? Sabi ni Sir Ferdinand blurred daw, pero I'm watching on my screen, it's not blurred. So Sir Ferdinand, maybe you can check your own signal. It's not blurred even in my phone. I'm watching also on my phone just to make sure. So check your ano. Okay? All right. So, I'm gonna stop sharing again and I'll show you my slide. Okay? Stop screen, present. Okay. Okay. 'Di ba? Ito yung ano natin. Let's ask another question. Using the CAPE format. So I wanna use this as an example. Tinype ko na kasi so mabilis lang. The context is this research explores digital literacy in rural high school in the Philippines. The action that you want to do, generate an outline for a literature review. What's the purpose? This will help organize my RRL chapter. Expectation, use subheadings and key themes based on research, on current research. So this is your visible guide, yung context, action, purpose. You can erase this now so that hindi malito ang AI natin. That is just your physical, okay? Physical or visual, not physical, visual guide. So again, you have context, action, task, and expectation. Okay? So when you're done, you just submit that, and then okay, it will now generate to you an outline for a literature review that you want to do. Okay? For those college students studying research, this is not an easy way out ha. Hindi nagtuturo si Mr. Toscano para mas madali yung buhay. No, it's a guide for you. Because this will help you, but you will have to make sure that you evaluate this. Remember, AI kasi to. See, it does not know our context. It will just go through its documents, its data, and then hopefully it will give you the proper way of outlining your RRL. Okay, you now have an output something like this. Okay, I'm not quite sure nakuha ba natin? All right. So I'm gonna stop sharing this for now. I'm not quite sure if everything was ano. Can the team share? Okay. Okay. All right. So can you go to the comment section? Nawala po ang audio. Hello? Nawala bang audio ko? Or naglag? Baka naglag ako, no? Oh, you didn't see what happened? Yeah. So I tried to input. Yan. If you didn't see, yan. Okay, nakuha po ninyo. All right. So yun. Okay. There's one more. 'Di ba? I told you to take a screenshot. There's one more that I can show in terms of output. Okay. Um. Okay. Let's try to use the power, 'di ba? I told you to take a screenshot of the different ano. I'm gonna choose for now power. Let me just share my screen. Okay, sharing screen. Teacher Jim, ano yung power? Wait for a while. I'm shifting kasi. So, what is the power framework? Okay, the power framework looks like this. Okay, P stands for problem, O stands for objective, what AI is, that's W, essential information, and then R are used for your restrictions. Okay? Use this when you hit a challenge and want AI to help you, but not to take over. Ayan ha. Halimbawa, nagre-research ka, nagsusulat ka, hindi mo na alam yung gagawin mo. Siya laging nakikita, 'di ba? So anong gagawin natin? Okay? We will use power and then the prompt framework power, and let's see how things would happen. Okay? So this is again my chat GPT. Ayan, tingnan natin. Let's use the power framework. So P means problem. So problem is your P. I am unsure how to explain my sampling method to my panel. Ayan. Okay? The objective or what you want to do is give two ways to justify it clearly. W, what will AI do? Act as a thesis advisor. And then E, expectation. My studies on blended learning in public senior high school using qualitative interviews. And then R, restriction. Don't suggest changing the method. Sa limbawa, no, wala kayong makausap at you face a stumbling block. You want AI to help you face the stumbling block in your research, but you don't want AI to take over. Okay, you will still have to make the decision. So I already inputted the information, POWER, power framework. Then I'm just gonna type that. Ayan. So you now have a research partner that can help you identify or help you with what you're going to do. Ayan. So while waiting, no, shout out to our dear friends out there, Dr. Jocelyn, ayan, Dr. Joy. I know that the Bulacan State University students are here. Welcome to our Saturday webinar. Ayan. So you now have a coach, 'di ba? For doing research. We use the power framework. Okay. So I'm just gonna stop sharing for now. There are other AI tools that I want to share with you. Okay. If you're using what you call it, Google Scholar, or you want to make sure that you look for your RRL, I'm gonna demo to you something that I love using. It's called Elicit. So elicit.com. Maybe the team could type ELICIT. This is this is I know a lot of us use Google Scholar, no? But this AI tool is faster than Google Scholar. Okay? Yan. So ang Google Scholar natin, medyo mabagal, walang AI pa. Nauna ang Elicit. Ang Elicit ay nawala ba yung ano ko? Okay, I don't know if it's showing. Nawala ata. Let me just share my screen again. Sorry, I'm trying to share multiple screen right now. Kaya I'm having a challenge. Ayan. Can the tech team check? Ayan. Okay, so this is Elicit. Si Elicit, it will ask you to type your research question. And then, when you type your research question, it will even give you feedback kung tama ba yung research question mo. Like for example, what is the effect of flipped learning to primary students who are non-numerians? Okay? So tingnan natin, no? Look at what Elicit is doing. It's trying to comment at my question. Okay? It's trying to comment on my question research question. Sabi niya, good research question. Consider adding these elements for better result. So sabi niya, specificity. So pag specificity, ine-edit na rin niya, comparison ba ang gusto natin or outcome measurement. Gusto ko yung comparison para ma-compare yung dalawang idea. Okay? So comparison. Okay, comparison. Uy, okay na. So great question, na-edit na niya. Na-feedbackan na tayo. So I want to make sure that I look for questions. So I go or for related literature. Now it will now give me not just related literature but even summary of those papers. Abstract summary. You can even add columns. So this AI tool will give you sources, papers here, and even give you the main findings if you want or methodology that were used. Now, limited lang po yung kaya niyang ipakita. You can upgrade if you want to take advantage if you are a researcher. Yan. So you can even filter so that all studies has PDF, tapos yung publication nila, it's the most recent one, the quality of journal, the study type, review, method analysis, systematic review, or even RCT. So pwede ninyong gawin. Okay? So let's you can add more, load more paper. Ayan. You can now have a lot of things. Have a lot of literature with you. Ayan, 'di ba? So I don't know if this is useful for everyone, but medyo nahuli na si Google Scholar. Right now, Elicit is a very good paper for me. You can even have your own library of your research. You can upgrade. Sir, how much is the upgrade? Ayan. You can check the plans later on so that you can take advantage and add more columns. Sorry to tell everyone, yun lang talaga, hindi free. Ayan, hindi free lahat ng mga magagandang AI. Most of them are paid. Okay, I'm not quite sure. Do you know Notebook LM? So Notebook LM as well is from Google. Just share. Okay. I'm gonna share my whole screen right now so that you can see. Okay. Notebook LM is from Google. So notebooklm.google.com. So you can upload documents here, and then it could actually help you understand or work with the documents. Notebook LM is fairly popular among young students right now. Okay. So like what it's doing right now, I uploaded a study that I downloaded from Flip Learning here. Okay? And then I'm trying to check kung tama ba yung sagot niya. So here I can counter check. and then I can work with Google on Notebook LM. By the way, if you are subscribed, I can demo also to you. Gabay, our own AI tool, can actually do some research tasks as well. So let me just log in and demo Gabay to you as well. May mga research din kami dito. Okay? Yeah, if you're interested as well, we have subscribers here, no? Bulacan State University is subscribed with Gabay. If you are using Gabay, there is actually a research tool here, Research Idea Planner. Ayan, it says here Research Idea Planner. Ayan, you can click here, and then this is an automated research idea generator. So for example, I am interested in using flipped learning. Sorry for the example, favorite ko yung flipped learning. In teaching fractions to grade 5 students who are struggling in class. So for those who are Gabay subscribers here, you can just put target participants, research part. So you can click the different research parts that you want that you want Gabay to give you some ideas of. Okay? So instead of doing individual prompting, what Gabay can do for you is to help you start your research plan. It will not write for you your it will not write for you your essay. It will just give you an idea on how to start, what to do in each part. So for those who are subscribed with Gabay, please don't forget that we also have a Gabay AI tool. Is everyone familiar with Gabay already? If you've been here, Gabay is a Filipino AI tool that could help you with um, how do you call it, with lesson planning and doing some tasks. Okay, so this is Classroom Research Ideas Generator. In the interest of time, I want to show you as well. Note, if you're using Gabi as well, in Gabi there is a document mode. So when it functions like Notebook LM, but this is more this is a lighter version. So you can have a document mode. You can upload some papers here, and then you can converse with Gabi, our AI tool, assistant tool, and then ask, for example, what is the study all about? Tell me the methodology. Okay. So you can, if you're a Gabay user, Gabi is now more powerful as well. Okay. So you can actually do this. It just takes a few time, and then there babasahin niya. Si Gabi is now powerful. It can read your documents, and then it will give you ideas or input from the study or from the document. So pwede din tong gamitin if you are subscribed to Gabi. Okay, so just to show you, Gabi is our Filipino AI tool, lesson planner, designer, yan, paggawa ng assessment, even paggawa ng PowerPoint, pwede nang gawin dito with Gabi. All right, so you can check this as well. Teacher Jim, what if we want to create diagrams or picture using AI tool based from words? I don't know if you heard of the term of the AI called Napkin AI. So Napkin AI allows you to turn your text into visual. So let me just sign in. Yan. Sunod-sunod na lang po yung sinishare ko sa inyo ha, para in the interest of time. Okay? So this is Napkin AI. Nakakahinga pa ba tayo? Sunod-sunod lang yung demo ko para mas mabilis and pasok sa oras natin. Okay. How to for school. Ayan, next. Select an option. Other. Ayan. University and higher education. Describe my role. I'm an administrator, presentation, blog report. Okay. So, lahat na lang yan. Okay. So, how do you hear about us? Social media. Okay, here, what you can do is to upload text that you want to be translated to into diagram. For example, let's look at this one. Kumukuha lang ako ng input na ipapadiagram natin. Give me three important findings from the study. So I don't have anything. So for the interest of demo, I'm going to Notebook LM. I'm asking for three important findings from the study. Let me see if it can give us. Then my idea here is I'm gonna ask Notebook LM. Parang wala, yan. Okay, I'm gonna copy this and I wanna go to Napkin AI. I wanna have this converted into visuals or diagrams. So here you can just click here. Ayan. It will read your document and then it will suggest to you how to how to or what kind of diagram you can generate for it. So it could be something like this. It could be something like this. Ayan, nakikita nyo ba yung nangyayari? So yung mga nagre-research dito, no, or mga teachers and student, ayan, nakikita nyo na binibigyan tayo ng, yay, different ways of, ayan, visualizing the input. Tingnan natin kung nakikita. It will now look like this. 'Di ba? So based on the input, ito na, yung visuals. Ayan. Shout out to my cousin, Joanna Bernales. Ayan. Okay. So notice, if you're teaching research, meron na tayong AI. Can you change this? Yes, you can change this, no? Palitan nyo lang yung format niya. Okay? Aspect ratio. I will give you time to explore it on your own, pero you can find different ways of how you can visualize it. Okay? You will already have elicit. We taught you prompt engineering. Ayan. Notebook LM is here. It's already here. We've taught you Gabay as well. Gabay being powerful with Gabi na may document mode. Heads up teachers, pwede nyo rin gamitin to sa mga other personal document analysis. Si Gabi is very important na ay very powerful and Notebook AI. You can also use Gamma. Gamma is a PowerPoint creator. Medyo mahal lang. But here, for example, in Gabi, kasi sabi nila, sir, can you suggest, may nag-comments, can you suggest a PowerPoint creator? Meron si Gamma, pero mahal ang subscription ni Gamma. Instead, I'm gonna offer to you the presentation generator of Gabay. So Gabay has a presentation generator here. In the interest of time, I might not have enough time to showcase it. But if you're a Gabay user, you can have an access. You can have an access to this one. Okay, yung do more. Okay, PowerPoint slides generator. How to avail Gabay? That's the question. Okay, you can go to gabay.ph and then just subscribe from there. Okay, maybe we will give you information on how to subscribe to Gabay. There are a lot of AI tools pero I don't want to waste our time talking about many AI tools na hindi rin naman natin lahat gagamitin. So what I shared to you are the things that I usually use. Okay, not so much but just enough. Okay? So, are there any questions? I'm just gonna sip my drink, and then I'm gonna resume into discussion of ethical considerations. But I'm just gonna rest for a while. Okay, so I think everyone's ready. Can you still see? Can you see my slides? Ayan. All right. Okay. So, ayan na, no? Nakakatuwa. Nag-enjoy na tayo sa AI. Pero, ang laging reminder ni Teacher Jim is kailangan we consider ethics. Just because, lalo na yung mga college students natin dito, kahit even yung mga teacher, um, you know, kailangan din natin isipin na mabuti ano ba yung ethical. May question though, is there an AI for, is there a need for citation? We will answer that later, okay? Now, let's look at how we could understand our research, okay? The you know, the reality is there is a thin line between assistance and misconduct. Okay, you know that hallucination could happen. The students are here and the professors are here. I'm gonna be straightforward. Hindi matutuwa ang mga students, pwede rin hindi matuwa yung mga teachers. Students, nag-hallucinate ang AI. That means na wag kayong kopya ng kopya lang na hindi nyo binabasa at hindi nyo na-analyze. Hallucination means pwedeng magbigay si AI ng idea na hindi naman totoo o hindi nangyayari sa totoong buhay. Students, mahuhuli kayo ng mga teacher ninyo kung hindi nyo binabasa ang mga interactions nyo with AI. Students, please don't trust citations as well, especially with ChatGPT, Gemini, and large language model. Elicit is okay with citations, pero huwag kayong mag-cheat at mag-fabricate kayo ng citations. Ang ginagawa namin ngayon ng mga teachers, binabasa namin yung mga citations ninyo, clinic-click namin yung mga sources ninyo. And you know there are rules right now in universities. Pag nakahanap ng maling citations, they will return your paper and you will have to rewrite it. Professors, if you don't have that rule, that's how you wanna make sure that the students are doing well. Go to the references, click the documents, the sources that they have given, check if that's correct or not. Pwede kasing mag-invent ang AI, maganda yung title niya, maganda yung pero mali naman yung link niya. So, that's the technique right now. I have some professor friends. They don't read immediately your paper. They will look at your references and see if everything's correct. Ayan ang pinagbabawal na technique. Just kidding. Yan ang technique ng mga professor. So, wag niyong isipin, students, na hindi naman ito babasahin. Yun yung mga technique na ginagawa nila ngayon. Okay? Ang AI ay context insensitive. Hindi niya alam yung konteksto ng mga nire-research natin. And kahit sabihin natin sa kanila, sa AI, hindi pa rin niya magigets. Kasi ang sensitivity is usually a human skill. Because you need to decide what is ethical, what is up to our standards, what is acceptable, culturally acceptable. Okay? Huwag gamitin ang AI tool as a ghostwriter. Okay? Ang AI tool lang yan, nakakatulong yan. Huwag ghostwriting. Okay? Huwag gamitin as ghostwriter. Sa mga nagre-research din sa atin na mga teachers and professionals, mag-ingat po. I already know some people who have been using to be honest, ito yung nakakasad. College professor sila and professionals kasi nga there's a demand for them to write research and get published. I know that some people are doing ghost authorship which sacrifices academic integrity. Yun yung nakakasad. Okay? At heads up din, data privacy violation is so common in using AI tools for research. Kasi minsan sinasaksak na lang natin yung mga data. Actually bawal yun unethical yun. It's a violation of data privacy. You cannot upload data without the consent of participants. So, kailangan sabihin mo na, when you answer our survey, we will use ChatGPT to analyze them. Technically, bawal kasi yun. That goes against Data Privacy Act. Sir, paano pag upload namin walang pangalan, yung lang data? Pwede yon. You can redact, you can remove, but you have to be careful because there's a risk for data privacy. Okay? So, Teacher Jim, ano yung pwedeng consideration natin? Okay, AI is age-based and not authorship-based. By Philippine law, we cannot attribute authorship or ownership to AI. Sa Philippine law, wala pa siya. the more important thing here is authorship goes back to the writer. Pero don't use AI as your ghostwriter. Medyo nakakahiya din kasi yun kasi researcher ka nga eh, 'di ba? Integrity is formative. You need to be transparent with your use of AI and you need to be accountable following the ethical research process, okay? You have to disclose what AI tools you have been using. And when you say, "Sir, so okay na, i-disclose ko na. Gumamit ako ng ChatGPT para isulat ito. Okay na 'yun?" No. Professors, it's important that you should have guidelines. Kasi yung AI tool disclosure, it should be within the parameter of AI use, of acceptable AI use. Dapat meron kayo. Okay? Next. Okay? Researchers, you must never outsource intellectual labor. There's a question yung chapter 4. Tama ba yung question yung chapter 4? Ano ba yung chapter 4? Ano ba yung chapter 4? Sorry, nakalimutan ko na. Ano bang format 'to? Okay, include yung ano ba yung chapter 4? PAIS of chapter 4, sir. What's PAIS? Sorry ha, kasi we don't share the same language. Is that the presentation analysis? Is that what we're using right now? Presentation analysis of ano? Yun na ba yun? I'm hoping it's presentation analysis and interpretation. Actually, sa research and using AI, we cannot, we should be the one doing the interpretation and analysis. It should not be AI. Okay? Kasi yan yung intellectual labor na sinasabi natin. Researchers must never outsource intellectual labor like interpreting result. That is the job of researchers. Okay? Ano pang gagawin mo as a researcher? Right? AI should not be used to generate philosophical, theological, or even ethical analysis. This require human insight and domain expertise. So anything that involves analysis, interpretation of findings, conclusion results, that is for human work. So sir, paano yung AI? Ganito yan. You can specify, so you can create your own guidelines and teach your students, lalo na yung mga college student natin, human versus AI roles in research process. You can actually give already something like this. Look at the screen. So there's a research stage. Identify the responsibility of the researcher and what is AI assistance that is acceptable. For example, in research stage topic selection, AI can suggest keywords, related concepts, or even broad topic, pero this must be critically filtered. Ano yung responsibility ng researcher? Identify meaningful research gaps based on context, experience, or strategic goals. So pwede kang mag-brainstorming ng topic, pero in the end, trabaho ng researcher ang pipili kung ano yung topic na nag-a-align um, sa konteksto, karanasan, at strategic goal para sa iyong research. Clear ba yon? Another example of human and AI roles in research process. Discussion and conclusion. Ang acceptable use lang dito, grammar editing or improving language clarity. Wala dapat content generation because in the discussion and conclusion, you develop insight, you draw implications, and then you connect findings to literature and practice. Yan yung trabaho ng researcher. Hindi yan pwedeng gawin ng AI kasi ikaw na ang nagbibigay ng insight. Because in the end, the authorship will be given to you. What or attributed to you or credited to you? What constitute your authorship? You have original and you develop original insights. You were able to draw implications, even connect your findings to what we have right now. Job yan ng researcher, hindi yan job ng AI. I hope that is clear. It's not bad to use AI, but there are certain responsibilities that are meant for researchers. And this one helps us to understand that these are the things that are core to us. Na okay lang na wala nang gamiting AI kasi ito ay para sa atin. Trabaho ng trabaho ng researcher, 'di ba? Kung hindi natin gagawin 'to, ano paano bakit pa tayo naging researcher, right? Um, Sana meron din kayong disclosure declaration template. Every research output must include a clear AI use declaration indicating what tools were used and for what purpose. Pero I wanna be clear with this. Huwag tayong umabot sa pilosopo yung mga students na sinabing, "Sir, nag-disclose naman kami ng AI namin." No, the disclosure declaration of AI use should operate within guidelines. So before kayo magkaroon ng disclosure or declaration template, dapat may guidelines na kayo on what or how AI could be used in research. Para walang pilosopo, 'di ba? Okay. May nagtanong, "Sir, paano yung citation?" I think this is the last part of my the second to the last part. Paano yung citation, okay? APA, MLA, and Chicago Style, they already have released their own ways of citing AI. Notice hindi lang AI content, AI interactions. When to cite or acknowledge AI. If you use an AI tool to generate any part of your output, ideas, summaries, explanation, images, you cite and acknowledge. If you use AI tool and it influences your structure, language, or phrasing, disclose. Okay? Cite. If the work is not entirely your own, unless AI use is transparently declared, then you have to cite or disclose. Remember that this should still be within parameters. In the interest of time, I'm just gonna show you this, but you can already research. There are already samples in the websites of APA, MLA, and Chicago Style. This one, I think, is APA 7th edition. This is just a sample of how you would reference in-text citation and then reference it. Okay? Heads up lang, magkakaiba ang pagtrato ng APA, MLA, and Chicago Style sa AI interaction or AI generated content. So depending on your school or your discipline, you can now use APA, MLA, Chicago Style for in-text citation and even referencing. So meron na. It's just a click away. It's there on the website already. Last, be careful when you're uploading data and files in free AI tools. I'm pretty sure marami sa atin ang gumagamit ng libreng ChatGPT or whatever. Disclaimer, yung pinakita kong demo sa inyo ng ChatGPT, hindi po yun libre. Nakasubscribe po ako so I can keep my own data from being shared to ChatGPT. Okay? But here's the thing, if you're using free AI tools, all the things that you're uploading, yung picture nyo, nag-nano banana kayo, nag-Ghibli kayo, in-upload nyo yung research ng student ninyo, in-upload nyo yung essay ng student ninyo, in-upload nyo yung document ng school ninyo. If you're using free AI tool, wala na. Nandun na sa brain ng AI tool yan. In technology space, if something is free, your data privacy is the kapalit. So heads up, in research, you need to be careful because uploading data, sensitive data, like your participants' data and everything, can breach privacy protocols and you might be even going against Data Privacy Act of 2012. Okay? So you need to be careful yung mga surveys ninyo, yung mga student data, transcripts, documents, and all of those things. You need to be careful with what you're uploading, especially when you're using free. Lagi kasi nating tanong, is it free? Is it free? Is it free? When you're using something that is free, ang kapalit po ninyo yung data ninyo. Data po ninyo. Alagaan nyo yung data ninyo, especially because there is a Data Privacy Act of 2012. Okay? So, my final call is retain agency and authorship. Don't let AI do your thinking. Research nga eh. Pero try to be good and smart researchers. Plan what will AI do for you within acceptable parameters. But then for you to be proud of yourself, kailangan din naman do your own task. so you can put your mark as the author of what you've done. Okay? So don't forget about that. Okay? It can help us to make things a little bit faster, but then we should reserve for ourselves agency and authorship, because in the end, that is what we do. All right. So, yeah, this is AI and research writing, applications, and ethical considerations. Thank you, everyone.
Ayan, wow, grabe, what an insightful and eye-opening discussion. Grabe, sobrang dami ko rin natutunan since malapit-lapit na rin ang research namin sa MA. Thank you so much, Sir Jim, for helping us see the opportunities and responsibilities that come with using AI in research. Ayan, I'm sure many of us, of course, ang ating mga teachers and even our students, ayan, are walking away with fresh ideas on how to make our research work more meaningful and efficient while staying true to the ethical standards. Very important yan, lalo na ngayon. Yan. So now, we want to hear from you, our Facebook Live audience. Ayan, sobrang daming tanong mula kanina. Sobrang interactive ng ating comment section sa live. So this is your chance to ask questions. Maybe share your thoughts or even give examples of how you are already using AI in your own research or classroom. Yan. So you can type questions in the comment section. Ayan, let's take part of this session. Ayan, sige po. Yan, may nabasa ako dito. I don't know if nasagot mo na, Sir Jim. Ayan, aside from Canva, what AI could you suggest po to assist us in the preparation of PowerPoint presentations?
Yeah, I think sorry. Aside from Canva, yung Gamma. Pero ganito kasi teachers, mahal kasi yung Gamma. Bongga kasi yung Gamma. Tsaka may Slide
Yes.
Go, Slide GPT. Mahal. So what I can suggest is yung Gabay, yung pinakita ko sa inyo na gawang Pilipino. Gawa po namin yon. So it's cheaper as well. So you can try to use. May nagtatanong, no, paano ba mag-subscribe daw sa Gabay? You can go to Gabay, no. Maybe we can show. Gabay is a Filipino AI tool. Ayan. Maybe we can show tech team, ano ba yung pwede natin ano? Nasaan daw yung sign up ng Gabay? Ayan. Let's show it. It's gabay.tagpros.us. Ayan. Maybe we can put that. So you can subscribe and go to gabay.ph. It's not showing. Pero you can use that. There's an AI tool for that. It's gabay.ph. Okay? Ayan. Ayan, gabay.tagpros.us. You can sign up for free. You can sign up for free and then you will have 2 weeks to try. We're the cheapest AI. We're 99 pesos. Elicit is around $15 to $20. Gamma is also the same thing. So a lot of the things that I've shown you, they're good. But you need to pay. Hanggang may limited lang yung free. So ganun talaga eh. They don't keep your data naman. But if you want free, ChatGPT, mga ganon. Pero they eat your data and then you're not allowed to upload any sensitive file because that's against the law. Okay?
Ayan. Ayan po. So we have another one, Sir Jim, from John Eric. We are not advised to use free AI in research, or are we not advised to use free AI in research?
We are not advised to use free AI. You can use free AI, mag-ingat lang kayo. You're not as free. Okay? As free on what to do, or what you can do anything. Kasi nga, alam nyo ba yung ChatGPT, Gemini, every time you upload something, sino na nag-nano banana? Alam ko si si Glenda. Nag-nano banana. Sino pa bang hindi nag-nano banana dito? Alam nyo bang every time you upload a picture, even your voice, even if you use your voice sa ChatGPT, if you're a free subscriber, they use those. Sa kanila na yun, data na nila yun. 'Di ba? Data na nila 'yon. So, yes you can, pero mag-ingat kayo, 'di ba? Bawal mag-upload. Alam ko may mga teachers, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this very straightforward. Madi-disappoint yung mga teachers, ay yung mga students natin. I know that there are some teachers, kaya sabi ko nga wag tayong maging minsan kawawa yung mga students, 'di ba? Pag sa usaping AI, lagi na lang nabe-blame ang mga students. Ginagamit ang AI para mag-cheat, ginagamit ang AI para ganito. Heads up, no? Ang hirap, no? Nandito yung mga students, nandito yung mga teachers. Teachers, mag-ingat din. I know some teachers, and this will sound unfair for some students, sasabihin nila, ipokrito, ganyan-ganyan. Pero ganito lang ha, teachers, huwag kayong gumaya sa ibang teachers na nag-upload ng essay ng mga students nila, hindi nila binabasa, si AI na ang nag-grade. Bawal po yun. It's not actually good. Gusto nyo ba AI din ang mag-rating sa inyo? Yung performance ninyo, i-rate kayo AI din? Unfair yun, bawal yun. Okay? So, heads up. Sorry, students, to disappoint you. Hindi naman lahat ng mga teachers ganon. Marami pa rin naman ang hindi ganon, di ba? Parang sa amin ni Teacher Glenda, Teacher Jem, we don't do that. Pero may mga iba kasi. So, heads up lang. Research, student work, bawal yung mga yon. Alam ko rin na may mga nag-a-upload na office staff. So sana hindi nila in-upload yung mga sensitive documents ng mga ng eskwelahan nila, 'di ba? So nakakatakot 'yun eh. So yes, you can use free, but be careful. Always be careful. Right.
Yeah. So, Jim, nagtitiyaga ako magbasa ng talaga, ng essay. Ayan, hindi natin iaasa kay AI pati ang pagbabasa. All right. So we have another from Carl Angelo, sir. Is there a manual for ethical AI use po?
Schools have. Marami ng schools. I'm working, right now, I'm working with a network of school where they were almost complete. In my school, I'm leading the writing of a research manual. I took the part for AI in research. Marami na. Ang question lang is, can you look for them? Some schools are sharing them online. So, Mr. Car Angelo, you can search kasi we cannot endorse on our own, bawal school property. Pero you can search online kasi meron namang mga schools ang nag-share. Ang dapat kasi ginagawa ng mga schools ang mga yan. Hindi rin pwedeng umasa at kopyahin yung ginawa ng ibang school. Kasi magkakaiba tayo ng konteksto. 'Di ba? So you can actually search for some samples and models, but I would suggest that you create your own. Okay?
Ayun. We have another Sir Jim from Lee Echo. We are using Gemini for the grammar checking. Can we use this but disclosing the source?
Ano daw? Sorry,
We
nag-choppy.
are using Gemini for grammar checking.
Gemini
We are
for grammar
using Gemini for grammar checking. Can we use this but disclosing the source?
ano yun sana hindi niyo na-upload yung buong paper ninyo, no? Kasi mahirap. Mag-Grammarly na lang kayo. At least yung Grammarly kasi 'di ba, integrated na mismo. You don't need to upload anything or whatever. Pero yes, you may, pero sana wag niyo ina-upload yung buong paper. Copy and paste, pwedeng gano'n. Kasi binibigay mo na yung buong paper mo sa ano. I'm not quite sure if you're subscribed. Basta check if you're subscribed. Most of the time naman, if you're subscribed, tingnan nyo kung may data privacy kayo. However, there are business models kasi na kahit subscribe ka, kinukuha pa rin nila. So dapat binabasa nyo kung sino man yung IT head ninyo, kausapin ninyo, sir, nag-subscribe tayo dito. Ano ang data privacy nila? Okay? Dapat kausapin nyo, huwag kayong matakot sa mga nagbabenta sa inyo. As the data privacy. Parang kami sa Gabay. We're very clear. You can see on our website na we say we do not get your data. Kasi may subscription na kayo. Once you subscribe, we don't need to get your data. Yung iba kasing, this is how it works, no? Sir, bakit kasi yung mga free kinukuha nila yung data? Kasi yun yung business model nila. Yung data ninyo, binebenta nila sa mga third party, pwedeng advertisers, marketing agency, researchers, developers, binebenta nila. Kaya nga libre. Kasi binebenta nila yung data ninyo. Kada galaw. Alam nyo bang mga AI tool pa na kahit yung pagta-type ninyo, na monitor nila, may mga ganun. So, you have to be careful. Daming question.
question. And we have another surgeon from Matthew Gutierrez. May sample po kayo ng declaration template of using AI for research as checking and correcting grammar.
Meron na. If you can search online, no, I did not show it already kasi if you wanna look, there are some things that you can do. Google nyo lang yan. Actually, pwede rin si ChatGPT. Tanungin nyo na si ChatGPT. Create for me a declaration template. ChatGPT nyo na yan. Gagawa si ChatGPT niyan. So, wag kayong mahiya. I-ChatGPT nyo. Ayan. Para meron na kayong sample documents.
Yeah. Another good question from Flory Faye Langa. Sir, I would like to ask, why is it that my written work or written reflection is flagged as AI content when I checked it online, when in fact, I did the thinking without even using any AI tools?
Kasi, to be honest, sorry po mga professors out there, there are already a lot of researchers that shows that you cannot trust AI detectors. Okay, I'm gonna go to Perplexity. Ida-demo ko sa inyo. I use Perplexity, no? Let's try to ask this question. Perplexity, can you see my my screen? Try natin, Perplexity. Naka-login ba ako dito? Okay. Professors and everyone, I want to be transparent, no? That's why you don't trust AI detectors as the primary detectors. Yung iba kasi naka-subscribe kayo tapos yun na yung ginagamit niyo as ano, no. I'm gonna show you. This is Perplexity. Perplexity is a source base. It looks for data on what you research. Let's ask the question. Can AI detectors be reliable or accurate? Or are AI detectors reliable or accurate? Give me latest studies. Okay? So Perplexity is another thing that I use kasi when you ask Perplexity, it will give you data. Sorry ha, I wanna be transparent as well here. Baka mag-away-away kayo, but this is the reality. I don't wanna cause away-away here, but this is the reality. Look at here. Okay? Look at what it says. The latest studies, okay, wala show add sources. Add sources for your answer. Baka sabihin nyo, nag-iimbento si Sir eh. Tingnan natin. Okay? So, Perplexity is good at giving sources. Okay? Ayan. Accuracy and reliability of AI-generated text detection tools. This is a 2025 study highlights limitations in accuracy and issues with false positives and false negative, recommending human oversight. Okay? There is a source for that. Generating AI text detectors can be easily tricked. This yung study na to discusses how detectors are often fooled by paraphrasing or deliberate obfuscations, reducing effectiveness. Ayan no, and can we trust AI detective? Ayan, accuracy and finding accuracy often only slightly better than chance with significant error rates. So there are already a lot of studies that says AI detectors are not that reliable. AI din kasi sila. So why would you trust AI detectors if you don't trust AI? 'Di ba sobrang weird nun? So sorry ha, some of you might be subscribed. Okay lang 'yon. Okay lang naman. Pero ang mali kasing nangyayari, and this is my personal thought, kahit you can disagree with me if you want. Ang mali kasing ginagawa is, una nyong sinasaksak ang mga papers ng student. Pag may percentage na, hindi nyo man lang babasahin. Ibabalik nyo na agad. Alam nyo ba na the mere fact of returning a paper just because an AI tool marked it as AI use or whatever is already tantamount to saying nag-AI ka, nag-cheat ka, ibabalik namin sa iyo. That's an accusation. Have you noticed that? That's an accusation. So, kung ikaw ay professor, sana basahin mo muna. Kung ikaw ay research teacher, basahin mo muna. Pero paano mo mag-gauge at masasabing, kaya kayang gawin to ng student ko? Sana kilala mo nga sila. Alam mo yung capacity nila. 'Di ba? Meron nga akong ano, I don't know kung nakita niyo yung post ko. So you can search for my name. Yes, social media influencer. Jim Toscano on Facebook. My most recent post is about how teachers and professors use transition words as ano bang ginagamit? Yung mga in conclusion, therefore, parang AI daw yung mga yun, gumamit daw ng AI. Pag gumamit ka ng gano'n na words, AI daw yung gumawa. Sabi ko, bakit gano'n ang idea natin ngayon? Hindi ba naturuan ang mga bata na gumamit ng transition? Ako galing akong public school nung elementary ako. Pero ang mga teachers ko galit na galit 'pag hindi kami nagta-transition words, so tinuruan kami. Transition words are actually signs of good writing. Except unless yung mga bata ngayon hindi tinuturuan mag-transition words. Kasi pang matalino na lang, pang writers na lang. Hindi 'di ba? Yung mga transition words like in conclusion. Gustong-gusto ko nga yung in conclusion pero tayo tawang-tawa tayo ngayon, AI yan. Kasi gumamit ng in conclusion. Grabe naman kayo, ang judgment ninyo, 'di ba? Ang taas ng judgment. Hindi judgment 'yun, magaling lang talaga. Puwede naman kasing magaling na writer, natuto, 'di ba? Public school nga ako, elementary nga ako, tinuruan ako ng gano'n, eh, 'di ba? Kaya natatawa din ako at natutuwa sa gano'ng mindset. Iniintindi ko kung saan nanggagaling yung mga teachers or professors. 'Di ba? I'm trying to understand where they coming from. Why would they think that way? Why they would, believe AI detectors immediately and not even read it? 'Di ba? Parang I don't know. Baka there are ano eh. So mga teachers and students, maghalo-halo kasi tayo ngayon, no? Pero that's the reality, 'di ba? Transparency. 'Pag maganda flow sasabihin AI. 'Di ba nakaka-bad trip? Ako bad trip ako, eh. Kasi author po ako. Simulang bata ako, writer ako ng school paper namin kaya magaling din sorry modesty aside. Kaya ngayon bad trip daw ang mga magagaling magsulat ngayon. Kasi kung magaling ka magsulat, feeling nila AI yung gumawa, 'di ba?
Ayun. So, hindian natin alam kung iti-take natin as compliment pag sinabing parang AI yung gawa natin or magagalingan tayo sa sarili natin, ano.
Ah,
Pero ayun, ayan, in the interest of time, maybe we can accommodate 2 questions more. Ayan, marami lang po nag-a-up nito, Sir Jim. Sabi dito, may percentage lang po ba na nire-require sa school niyo about sa paggamit ng AI in research?
to be honest, we're not setting a percent, at least for professional research for us. We have not discussed that yet because we trust our teachers, 'di ba? When we do school-based research, we trust our teachers. Pero ano ba ang sinasabi ng research ngayon? Parang nasa 20%, 15 to 20%. Hindi ko rin gets eh. Ano ba yung AI usage na sinasabi? Paano pa ginamit mo yung Grammarly 100% sa lahat ng papers mo? I mean, 'di ba ano yung usage I'm not even sure what that means. Kasi ang Grammarly, paano pag chinek lang niya yung grammar mo and everything? I use it in the whole paper. Would you consider that as 100? I don't really know kasi how do you define AI usage. Halimbawa, sa research mo, nagpagawa ka ng illustration, hindi ka naman kasi magaling mag-drawing. 'Di ba? 'Di ba? So pinaggawa mo, ilang percent 'yun? 'Di ba? Yung nire-require, I think, you need to define kasi text-based usage. Paano pag brainstorming, pero hindi mo siya sinulat, 'di ba? Pero nag-brainstorming ka, 'di ba? Sorry, medyo pilosopo ako kasi I don't I'm trying to understand, is it the one that you put there? Kasi you can use AI for outlining. Ano po ba yung ano? What do you mean by that? Yung AI usage. Paano 'pag 100% gumamit ako ng transcription? Is transcription considered AI usage? Ano kayang sinasabi natin sa output mismo? I know that some universities 15 to 20. Parang gano'n, 15 to 20. Pero kailangan yung linawin, ano bang ibig sabihin niyo ng AI usage? Sige nga, yung mga nagtatanong, how will you define AI usage? How will the percentage po sa paggamit ng generative AI like ChatGPT? Paano 'pag image? Paano 'pag nag-brainstorming ka, kasama na yon? O sa mismong papel? Yun ba yung sinasabi natin? Kasama ba yung image dun? Text-based. 15 to 20 yung iba. Pero notice ha, ang dami kong question about AI usage. Paano 'pag image yung pinagawa? Will that count? AI generated text. Huwag ka kasing maglagay ng AI generated text, 'di ba? I-type nyo on your own. Just kidding. You need to clarify. Sige, gawin natin. Yung iba 10, 15 to 20. Pero kung grammar, is that AI generated text, Grammarly? 'Di ba? Or masyado lang makitid, sorry for the word, masyado lang makitid yung imagination natin sa paggamit ng AI or hindi natin alam, 'di ba? So 15 to 20 for some, but have questions on that. If it's just text-based, paano 'pag images are AI? Are you counting as well yung mga images created, yung brainstorming part, yung paggawa ng mga charts and everything? Paano 'pag AI? Paggamit ng Grammarly to check the grammar, 'di ba? So, I don't know. Really of the paper output is purely AI generated. So you're guarding yourself from AI generated output, okay? 'Di ba ang sabi nga natin dapat ikaw din dapat ang nagsusulat. So technically dapat unless nagka-copy and paste kayo. Do you do copy and pasting? Alam ko favorite ng may ibang teachers. Ito na naman 'no, let's be honest ha. Yung mga teachers na iba magcha-ChatGPT. Ayan, "Hi Adelie," ayan. Magcha-ChatGPT sila tapos pupunta sila sa Quillbot, gagawin nila 'yun. Bakit puwede sa teacher, bakit hindi puwede sa mga students? I don't know, baka kailangan talagang pag-usapan, okey? So 'yun, thank you so much 'no, ang daming mga tanong 'no?
Opo, sir. Napakadaming tanong. However, ano na po tayo, overtime na po tayo. Ayun ma'am, may isang nag-question dito, Sir Jim. Meron po bang mga webinars na kasunod? Yes po, sobrang dami pa po nating mga webinars na kasunod. And meron po tayong CPD webinar on September 20 and 27. Ayan, kaya kung kayo ay interested, ayan, mag-register na po kayo. Ayan po, yan coming this month, September 20 and September 27. Sobrang bongga rin po ng mga topics natin na i-discuss dyan. Ayan, so ayun Sir Jim, before we end, ayan, any last words, reminders, or suggestions maybe?
Yeah, I think the more important here when we're doing research kasi authorship kasi 'to, eh. May usapan on authorship, the idea of original work is here. So as much as possible, super limit the use of AI in your research. You can use it for brainstorming, for whatever, but when you write your research, sana 'di ba ang magandang part ng AI is napadali yung paghanap ng research, ng related literature. 'Di ba at some point that is acceptable, eh. We use AI to gather literature na mas mabilis. Kasi gone are the times na pupunta ka pa sa library. Gone are the times na pupunta ka pa sa Google Scholar, ang tagal, ang hirap maghanap ng mga papers. Kalaban natin ang oras lalo na at ang demanding ng mga schools natin, ng mga accreditation, lahat ng mga teachers nagre-research daw. Alam mo yung mga gano'n? So, pero when you go to the chapters that require human authorship, authenticity, ilaan na lang natin yon sa atin kasi those will mark authorship for us. Those will mark that that's actually our own creation. So let's just limit the way we do. Authorship is very important. you will publish that. That will be attributed to you. Matutuwa ka ba na in the end, you fooled everyone, nag-AI ka pala, pero hindi naman totoong sa'yo yan. Na-promote ka nga, na nabigyan ka ng certificate, na credit ka and everything, pero sa totoong buhay, proud ka ba yan? Yan ba ang gusto mong matutunan ng mga bata sa'yo? And then in the end, can you call yourself a true person? Remember, di ba? What you do when you're alone shows who you are. When no one is looking at you, di ba? Ganon din ang paggamit ng AI. When no one's looking at you, paano mo ginagamit ang AI? Alright. Apologies, there are so many questions, but time is limited. Yes, there will be more discussions on AI. Every month, we will have our free webinars, but there are also other opportunities for you to learn. Glenda will share to you about that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Glenda.
Okay, so on behalf of Tech Pros Education and the entire training team, maraming salamat po. Maraming salamat po lahat. Grabe. We're more than 300 viewers. Grabe, so far sobrang dami po. Maraming salamat po. Once again, this is your host, Glenda Milarion, greeting you all a happy National Teachers Month. Ayan, mabuhay po kayong lahat ng mga guro. Always stay safe, stay inspired, and see you in our next sessions.